Hey everyone, thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean, this is Woodwork Journey, and today we're going to be doing a quick saw resto. Basically, I went to a car boot sale this morning with my wife and I picked up a couple of things. I picked up an old a saw set so I can set the teeth on a couple of the saws that I've got where the teeth are a bit rubbish, like the one that I sharpened on a live a little while ago. So I'm looking forward to using that. That could probably do with a bit of a clean up, although not super necessary. Another thing that I got was this old vintage wallpaper brush, and I'm going to be using this on top of my bench. And finally I got this saw. Now I got all three things for £5 all in, different stalls, but there we go. And this is what we've got to play with, and I think it's a brass back saw. There's a fair amount of weight to it. It looks like a fairly solid cross cut. The teeth look set. We've got a fair bit of rust to worry about on the blade itself. The handle's not in great shape, and we've got some sort of holes that are going on along the side there, which are not too clever. Could be woodworm, could have been something else, because they are in a line. We've got another one further down as well, but this is a Warranted Superior, which I believe Warranted Superior stuff was basically saws that were branded that weren't quite good enough to be the top ranking or the top kind of quality saws of certain manufacturers, but they were like seconds or like blems, but were still high quality and better than just cheap and nasty. There's certainly a decent amount of weight to this, which I'm looking forward to using, and I'm really looking forward to kind of getting involved with this. Now this is a tenon saw, I believe, rather than a dovetail, because of just the general size of it. When it comes to the length of it, is that 14 inch? No, 10 inch. No, 12 inch. It's a 12 inch saw. There we go. And we've got top dirt or blade thickness is more or less 4 inches, 3.5, 4 inches, something like that. So we're going to tidy this up today and see how we get on. I haven't got any vinegar to put it in, but that's something I'm going to get for future restos. So we're just going to go at it with some delicate sandpaper and see what happens. All right, let's get going. Alrighty then, so first things first, we're going to have to separate the blade from the handle. The blade from the handle. It doesn't look in too bad a shape. Like I said, we do have a couple of kind of woodworm type holes kicking in there. We've got the 3 going along right in there. I think there's one under here somewhere, right there. So you can always make a new handle for it, but I think we're going to just tidy this one up and see how we get on. But yeah, the blade seems pretty straight, which is good. So I'm not going to try to take the spine off this, purely because I don't want to risk upsetting the blade. It does look like it's moved up a little bit at this edge for some reason, so I'm not sure how far down this has to go, but we will make up as we go along, as always, and let's see how we crack on. Well, that undid a lot easier than I expected, as did that one. These should all polish up lovely. They're all brass, so yeah, they should work out really nicely, I think. That's a bit stuck in there. Not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it looks like there might be sort of the white bits of glue in there, maybe. Not sure. I'm loathed to drill these out, purely because I don't want to really cock up the insides of them. I don't think you're going to be able to see that, but it looks as though, I don't know if you'll be able to see in that bottom one, that the metal might have flared out a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to risk drilling out these holes right here, because there is definitely metal that's sticking in there. So this is not going to come off, and I don't want to risk really breaking it by hitting it with a hammer. So drill away, I think. That's done it. We've managed to pull those pieces out and separate the two. So what I was saying is it might still be a bit warm. I was using WD-40 as a lubricator. You might see that we've got some bits that are really kind of sticking out there, so I'm gonna have to file those down. Yeah, so that's really sticking out in that bit. So very, very thin to the top, but we'll have to see what we can do. When it comes to the front of this, rather than being a gap, I think this is folded over, and so that means I believe that if I were to take the blade out, that would be a bad thing. However, we have got some movement at the back here, as you can see. So you can see kind of the lighter sort of stretch there. So I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to sort of gently tease this brass back onto that, but we'll see how we get on. What I'm going to do is use some white spirit to see about getting this off, rather than going straight with a WD-40. For no reason other than I've never done it before, so why not give it a go? Got 150 grit that we'll be using today to start with, at least. I'm trying hard not to get the teeth too much at the end, because I don't want to knacker those up. Now I can reset them, but I don't think they're going to need recutting. But if I don't have to set them, then great. Right, let's see if that's making any difference at all. Oh yeah. Definitely making progress. That's what it was like. You can feel that it's significantly smoother, which is nice. I think I am going to have to file these burrs down though. I'm going to put the blade on this extra height so I'm not bending it between the thing and the spine, the blade itself and the spine. Stick a little bit of plywood in here. That might help a little bit. Oh, that's better. In essence, this just has to be smooth. I'm trying sort of unnecessarily to make it shiny, but as long as it's smooth and it's not going to sort of catch up on different types of, or while you're sawing, it doesn't catch in the kerf groove, then you're okay. And a bit of wax on that and it would be fine. But I'm trying to clean it up a little bit more than that, so we'll come back to it in a moment. Why am I not using a flappy disc on a drill or a grinder? Because I don't have a grinder, and I fear if I use a flappy disc on a drill, it won't have as much surface area, so I'll have kind of divots and you know, deeper bits than others. So at least with sanding, I can get long sort of strokes to try and get through to it. But yeah, it is hard bloody work. I'm not trying to get it to look like new, but just good, you know, and if I can get rid of a bunch of the pitting, then so be it. But that's not looking too shabby, that, I don't think. Getting there. Better than that. Right, I think that's about as good as that side is going to get for the time being. I'm not entirely sure what to do near the teeth, because I don't want to knacker the set of the teeth too much. If I don't have to reset them, that would be super. But right, let's get on to that side now. Unfortunately, I couldn't get rid of all of the file marks on there, so that's going to be for another day, I think. But for the time being, that's an all right start. So I don't want to scratch the brass up too much, and the brass is obviously going to be somewhat thinner, or at least more delicate than the steel. So this is 800 grit. Yeah, and again, I think this is folded over, and it shows it because there's a divot in the middle rather than it being flat. Oh, this is my first ever brass back saw. Ooh, look at me being all posh. So that's what we're looking like at the moment. We have got quite a few dents and scratches and dings and what have you along that back. but I would end up having to take out way too much material if I tried to really get every little dent and ding out. I'm probably going to do some more on it, but not quite at the moment. That's not too bad though. It's a shame about these scratches from the file earlier on, but never mind. Right, let's see what we can do with this handle then, shall we? Try the 150 first and take it from there. Right, we might have to get some electrical assistance. Well, if you know what that grain's going to be, let me know. I don't think it's anything as hard as oak because it's quite light. But yeah, let me know what you think that is. Oh, I'm a genius. I'm a big fan of using strips of this mesh. Marvellous. Got some pretty significant discoloration going on around here, and it just does not want to come out, and here as well. So that might just have to be one of those things. You can easily see those woodworm holes that I was talking about earlier going on up there and down there. I don't think we've got anywhere else, but yeah, I think we're pretty much ready just to go down to a thinner grit. So that was 80. I need to go to like a 120 or something, 160, whatever, and then we'll see about putting some finish on it once we can put it all back together again. Right, bit of white spirit, a bit of white spirit to get rid of the sawdust. Okay, it gives us an idea what it might look like when it's got the finish on it, which will be nice. You can see that this end all around here is sort of quite battered and bruised, but I think we'll be okay. Right, so you can see that we are making a massive amount of progress now, and that's mainly because what I did is I realised I had an old polishing kit that I've had for years. I used to polish stainless steel bits on motorbikes with this. Yeah, so it was just a kit that I got from, not in this case, but a kit that I got from, I don't know, Machine Mart or somewhere. And it's just got a bunch of stuff. So I've been having a go at that on the drill, but I didn't have enough battery on my phone to keep recording it. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm now going to go in with a microfiber cloth and some Autosol. Then we're going to put it all together. Then I'm going to give this just a final little go over with some sandpaper, and then we'll put finish on it and job done. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. Again, it's never going to look like new, but you know, may as well give it a half decent shot. My hands are very much giving up now though, so this is about as far as we're going to take it for the time being. I can always come back to it and do more if I want to, and it is going to look better than it did, and that's the main thing. Alrighty then, so here we are. We've got all the bits and bobs. I have managed to knock this spine down just a touch, and I think it's just starting to touch that hole there. So I don't know if that's going to cause us problems on the assembly. It might do, but we will see in a moment. But in actual fact, I might be able to knock it forward just a touch. Oh, it's very close. It's very close, but that spine is ever so slightly in the way. That'll be why it was poking up. I've moved the front ever so slightly over just by hitting this back end with a mallet. Let's see if that helps. Ah, that's upsettingly close, that is. This might be stupid, I don't know. I think it worked a little bit. Oh, you little bugger. Oh, I think we're pretty much there now. Right, can anyone remember which way around these went? Because I cannot. Oh yeah, when I was cleaning these, I did have a couple of them. I took the finish off. So they're not brass, unfortunately. But you know, what can you do? Right. Do you know what I should have done? I should have paid attention to which side had the medallion. Was it there? I've got a feeling it was there. So if that was there, bosh, bosh. Right, so what I'm not super chuffed about is because I took just a fraction off the thickness of here, the actual caps wouldn't fit all the way through and be able to get tightened. So I have had to put a washer under there, which I'm not super happy about, but hey, it works. Could do with being a touch tighter. I did think about putting some epoxy under there, but chose not to. So that's what we're dealing with. Let's get some boiled linseed oil on here now, and then we can really kind of finish up for today. I'm going to leave it to set overnight or sort itself out overnight if I can get in it. But that will finish the video for today, where we've got a basic restoration. It was super difficult to try and get these to get in, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was clamping them up, trying to get them tighter. I was doing all sorts of things, putting them on bits of rubber and all sorts of stuff, and it just wasn't happening. And then I realized it was probably because I'd thinned out with all the sanding and the lack of lacquer and what have you. I just thinned things out enough for it to be problematic. So hopefully that was interesting to someone, but I think that we are looking significantly nicer than we did at the start. And so, like I say, for a 2 or 3 quid, however much it cost me, I think that that has come out pretty bloody nicely. So yeah, all things considered, jobs are good. And should we just have a quick look to see if it cuts? Probably a good idea. Right, not actually my first cut because I forgot to turn the camera on. But let's have a little crack again. Oops. Well, it cuts, and it cuts straight. I do think I need to play around with the set, but luckily I've got this little gadget now, so I can do that. But no, all in all, 3 quid. I'm happy with that. Thanks very much for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.